So got a bit of a different boat test today. Steve Morgan here, Fishing Monthly magazines. We've gone to Mercury in Coomera down in the Gold Coast Marine Precinct, and we've nicked their staff boat, or at least one of their staff boats from Mercury. You've probably seen on social media their massive 10-metre V12 600 horsepower powered RIB. It's not that. We've got one of their Quintrex Renegades with a 60 horsepower Mercury standard gearbox 4-stroke on the back. It's got a motor guide on the front. It's all set up for dealer training, staff use, fishing. That's what we're going to do with it today. We're going to take it for a fish down on the Gold Coast. One of the things that we get asked a lot through our boat test is what is the difference between Mercury's CT command thrust and their standard gearbox? Well, we're going to have a look at that today for you as well. And the other thing that this boat's got that you may not have seen before, it's Mercury's intuitive tiller handle, and it's for motors 40 horsepower to 115 horsepower. It's got all of the bells and whistles. We're going to have a look at that too. So we've got it on the water down in the Nerang River now on the Gold Coast, a little bit far from home for this New South Wales Mercury staff boat. And let's take a little bit of a look at some of the components of this rig. Of course, it's a 460 Quintrex Renegade, which is a plate-sided aluminium Gold Coast built boat. Very suitable for lots of general purpose fishing if you like hanging a line over the back, maybe getting on the front casting deck, casting some lures. Taking the family out, this boat has a bimini top, but we haven't brought it out on the test day today. This is probably the sort of average tinny that most people that are on the bank would love to be in. But let's look at the components of it, specifically the 60 horsepower Mercury for a start. These are at 4-stroke outboard, and if you know anything about motors, you know that means the oil is in the sump of the motor. You don't have to add oil like you used to have to with the 2-strokes, and that has a few different amenity advantages. What it means is there's no smoke. This is a quiet, smoke-free motor and a really pleasant boating experience. Secondly, let's have a look at this intuitive multifunction tiller here. This is retrofittable to any Mercury outboard that has a SmartCraft backbone on it, from 40 to 115 horsepower. Has all of the alarm warning lights on it. You can adjust your revs up and down. You can hear I'm putting the revs up now to adjust my troll speeds. It has a reversible tiller, which means if I want to drive it right-handed instead of left-handed, the dealer can swap all of this over and it can make it work both ways. And it's fully height adjustable. I can change the height here to get it exactly the right height for me. And, this is awesome, the trim and tilt is actually on the handle here. You don't have to reach for it with a second hand. Apart from that, the Mercury 60 horsepower, very solid block. They've been around for a while and they're covered by Mercury's 3+3 year, 6-year warranty. 3-year warranty and then an extra 3 years if you take it to your Mercury dealer for servicing. All the information for that motor is shown here on my Mercury Vessel View SmartCraft gauge. This one here has been set up for the guys with one of their built-in their rock chargers, so it'll inductively charge my mobile phone here, which is cool because it's the iPhone 12 in here is waterproof and it's a wireless charging system, so very safe to have out on the water, be it fresh or salt water. And then all of the engine data I can see in this Vessel View. It's also got though the module which converts this into a fish finder as well, so I can get side scan, down scan, standard sonar, all of my charts all in the one position. So gone are the days where you need a separate gauge and sounder. This one does it all in one. Let's have a chat to Brett Sutherland about the difference between the standard gearbox on this motor and the CT gearbox that you may have heard a lot about.
CT stands for command thrust. Okay, so this is the standard Mercury gear case. It's got on a 60 horsepower, a 50 and 60, it's got a 1.83 to 1 gear ratio. Runs a smaller diameter propeller, better on lighter boats. We also do the CT gear case, which is 2.33 to 1 gear ratio. Runs a much bigger diameter propeller. Basically runs the prop that we would run on 75 through 115. CT would be used in a heavier application where you're carrying a bigger load, where you've got to lift the weight and get it going. So it's gear ratio and propeller diameter that lift the weight for you.
Let's have a look at the XI3 motor guide, which is on the front of this Mercury staff boat. Now, my assumption is if it's got a motor guide on the front, staff are allowed to go fishing in it. Two components to it. There's a 12-volt battery buried under the front deck there with its own little charger, and there's the XI3 on the front. It's a 55-pound 12-volt motor. One battery and one set of controls. In this case, the guys have got the handheld remote control. There's also an optional foot control for this motor as well. And of course, apart from the fact that I can drive this boat around like a remote control boat, there's the spot lock feature or the anchor lock or the virtual anchor, which is the most important fishing tool for an electric motor, especially if you want to hold position. I hit that anchor button, it stays where I leave it. One of the neat things this Mercury staff boat's rigged with, and something that you can rig on any Mercury engine with a smart craft system, is Vessel View Mobile. You get yourself a little dongle, and you can see in the cutaway here, it's sitting under the deck, and it communicates wirelessly to your mobile phone all of the essential data. So have a look with me here. We've got 12.2 gallons of fuel on board. We're going 0 RPM because the motor's often going 0 kilometres an hour, but all of that data is being transmitted from your engine to your mobile, so you don't need something like one of these really cool vessel views to see what's going on. Remember it, Vessel View Mobile. So there you go, there's a quick tour of Mercury's very own staff boat, that 60 horsepower 4-stroke, an impressive engine. Talk about impressive, look at some of the performance stats. Between 2.8 and 2.9 kilometres per litre, anywhere between 4,000 and 5,000 RPM on the rev range. That's going between 27 and 41 kilometres an hour. You get the best economy out of this 750cc engine. Wide open throttle, 50 kilometres an hour, and wide open 50 k's an hour around this joint on the Gold Coast. You fit right in with everyone else. We're going to go for another little fish now, get this boat cleaned up, see if we can sneak it back to Coomera before they know it's gone.